Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Wicks. I'm Vice President in Nasdaq's Listing Services Group, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Behind the Bell. And this afternoon, we're joined by Dan Bernstein, who is the CEO of Bellevue. Dan, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're going to be closing the market in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, we're very excited about doing it.
Yeah, this is great. So, Dan, for our viewers, can we start by telling a little bit about Bellevue's and its mission and some of the customers that it serves?
Sure. Bellevue was founded by my father in 1949 as a fuse company. Over the years, we evolved in making many different products that support telecommunication, military, aerospace, industrial, lighting. Basically, anytime you plug something in the wall, we can build components that building the end equipment. And as you said, we've been in business since 1949, and it's been a pretty exciting ride so far.
That's amazing. And I would assume the space in various verticals is competitive. And I guess my question is, how does Bellevue's stand out from the competition?
I think the key to our success has always been really working very tightly with our customers and the engineers who really are developing product. If we can stay close to them as they develop new products, we can be very successful. So we started off, for example, with RCA building fuses. We evolved from there building delay lines. RCA started building computers. Those delay lines were picked up by DEC. Then we started building pulse transformers for DEC. That was picked up by Cisco. Then we started building LAN transformers, power supplies. So if you have a tight relationship with the engineering community at these major customers, like a Cisco, you can develop a lot of different products and you can be very successful.
But it sounds like also the key is being close to your customers.
Very close.
And I guess also predicting where their business is going. And
if I could predict that business, I'd be sitting where you're sitting and playing the stock market. So I can't predict that, but if you put it down enough seeds, hopefully you can. Something's going to grow.
Something will grow. So when you think of customer success stories, do you have any ones that particularly come to mind?
I think again, we do mention Cisco a lot because they've been our larger customer for the last 3 years. But we had a situation where they had a patent problem. And we were competing against many larger companies, multi-billion-dollar power supply companies. And we were the first one to be able to give them a solution that really worked for the object. And for that, we were nominated for Supplier of the Year, Responsiveness, and Engineering. So we thought that was a tremendous pat on our back for being so successful, but more importantly, shows how a small company can be nimble against the big guys.
I was just going to say, I mean, there are definitely some advantages to being smaller and more nimble.
Yeah, and I think that's one of our successes, coming from a family-run type of business, that we really do watch our overhead. We don't have a lot of layers, and we try to keep our costs down. Also, just important as the cost, making decisions very rapidly. We only have 4 vice presidents with a company that has revenue of $500 million.
Wow. So as you look at industry trends, what trends are driving some of the opportunities for Bellevue's?
Well, I think going forward, we really see tremendous opportunities in HEV, electronic vehicles, how that's moving. We're looking at niche markets like buses, like large transportation. We're working with a company called Nikola Motors that's competing against Tesla, who's going to have the long-haul vehicle.
Okay.
We're doing a lot of work with them. We're working with the German Post Office on those type of vehicles, supplying power supplies in those electronic vehicles. Also, we're doing a lot with data farming, bit mining companies. They build these data farms, they need power to control. And we're doing a lot of work for people like Facebook and also a lot of bit mining companies. So it's still a very exciting time.
So there's a lot of news about the bit mining companies?
I give up. No, I can't. The only thing I know is they pay on time,
yeah,
and we're happy.
Hopefully not in Bitcoin.
Not in Bitcoin.
But it's interesting. I mean, the autonomous vehicles and some of these new trends that we're seeing, you're really playing a key part in that.
Yeah, we have some products on the Tesla product, on the Tesla car. Even though our sales are only up to about 4 or 5 million, we still see very strong growth in that area.
Yeah. And when you look at your product portfolio, you've got the magnetic solutions, the power solutions, and then the connectivity solutions. How do you see those 5-10 years down the road? What's driving the growth?
I think, again, a lot of it's hard to say. If you asked me, my father 70 years ago, it was TVs. Then it was, networking equipment. Then it was, mainframe. The only thing I know in 5 or 10 years, it's going to be something new, and I don't know what it is today.
Yeah.
But we should be there. So again, in 5 years, I mean, if you look at it, Volvo in 2020 is going completely electric. London, England's going completely electric vehicles. So we see those tremendous amount of opportunities out there for autonomous cars and electric cars. And again, a lot more with the data farms. And again, with bit mining, we don't know where it's going, but it definitely is an exciting opportunity.
And today you're celebrating, you'll be closing the market in a couple of minutes to celebrate the 20th listing anniversary on Nasdaq.
Yes.
And, what does that milestone mean to a company? I mean, you think back 20 years ago.
No, that's 35 years at Nasdaq, 20 years with the dual listing.
Right, exactly. 35 years, actually, you're correct, on Nasdaq.
I'm sorry.
And then, No. But I mean, that's a huge milestone. And
it's tremendous. I mean, I've seen some of these major companies that we supported over the years, like a digital equipment that was
come and
go, and just to be, having a great amount, the people we have that work for us, the talented people, how they can stay in forefront, how they work together. And there's again, we compete a lot with the Far East markets, and we've been very successful. So it just says a lot about the company, and I think a lot about what the foundation my father set for all of us, that we could grow this company and be very successful.
Yeah. And last question before we get to the fun part.
Okay.
Did I tell you about the fun part?
I think so.
Okay. How would you describe the culture at Bellevue's?
I think the major thing we do strive is trying to have an entrepreneurial culture, that we let people make their own decisions, that you got to move quickly. We try to, I always joke, and they say, well, you have a lot of meetings at Bellevue's. I said, we have all the meetings you want. Just have to have it at Friday at 4:45, and that's the only thing we ask. So I think people do feel the freedom that they, if they have to do something, they can get it done, and they can get answers quickly.
Okay.
There's no reason to be frustrated. I mean, again, you can come to me right away or one of the vice presidents, and we make decisions pretty quickly.
That's great. You ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
I want you to take your Bellevue's hat off and put the Dan Bernstein hat on. What's your favorite app or piece of technology?
I have a BlackBerry, so you're asking the wrong person.
Okay. So are we going to officially say it's a BlackBerry?
I'm saying it's a BlackBerry, but to show I am moving into the 21st century, it does have Android software.
Okay. All right. When you're not working, where can we find you?
I'm joking because my wife's going to kick me in the leg. I still play soccer, and as I'm talking to you now, I'm watching the World Cup game. And
I notice you keep looking over this way.
I'm sorry. No. And one of my hobbies, I do a lot of house. I hate to say, for some reason, I pick weeds, and it finds it very relaxing.
And you're out there. So, but you do still play soccer, which is great.
Yeah, I still play Saturday morning.
What position?
Close to the bench.
Fair enough. As you think about your career, and maybe, it's interesting with your dad being in the business, what's the best piece of advice someone has given you?
I just think, again, just to sit back, really try to learn the business. Rome wasn't built in a day. And again, just, the simple things in life. You get an email, you respond to that email hopefully within 8 hours. If you can't respond within 8 hours, you send an email back, and just really be attentive, and again, treat your customers, like you treat your own family. I think that's the most helpful advice I can give anybody.
That's great advice. And then last question, as maybe a young person is thinking about careers and whether to get in the business world or things like that, what advice would you give to someone entering the business world?
So I have a BlackBerry, and my other advice was, I realized I cannot tell a millennial anything. I have 2 sons, and I've given that up. And
you've lost the battle.
Well, the battle was won by my son because he's doing a lot better than I ever thought he did. He's done a tremendous job. If he listened to me, he'd still be working at ESPN. But now he has a very big job at House of Highlights and Bleacher Report, and been highly successful.
Yeah.
And our joke around our house is whatever Pop tells you to do the complete opposite.
Do the opposite. But maybe it's follow what you like doing, right?
As my wife says, follow your passion.
Yeah.
As I say,
I'm a firm believer in that.
I say that's a hobby, but that's me.
Okay. Well, Dan, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much
thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of Behind the Bell with the CEO of Bellevue's, Dan Bernstein. Dan,
great.
Congratulations.
Thank
on
you
the
so much.
anniversary.